Mighty good friends. It's Amy Temperley with a mighty good time here with another conversation with one of our event hosts from our site. Today we have Sher Christian. She is the author of Star-Kissed Shadows, Divining Poetry, and she does some really amazing poetry programming and literary programming that you can access through a mighty good time. So hi, Sher. It's nice to meet you.
Hi, Amy, you too.
Wonderful. Tell us a little bit about you and how you got into doing poetry and literary work, and then how your program works.
Okay. Poetry really found me, I would say. I was searching for what my life purpose was. Like, what is that special thing that only I can do, that only I can bring to make a difference? And so, while in that question, kind of living into it, poetry just started showing up as I would sit down to write. And I kept feeling that writing had something to do with it. And it was interesting because I'd never really been that interested in poetry before. And so poetry just started coming through my writing. And I kept thinking I was supposed to write about healing alternatives. And whenever I wrote about that, it just seemed really dry and boring. And when I wrote poetry, it was like really luscious and really about spirituality and the present moment and savoring life and just living your life authentically. And I thought, well, maybe I should write a book of poetry. so I did, and I started taking a class in poetry so that I could learn how you're actually supposed to do it, and get tips on how to make it clear for your reader. And it was just a lot of fun. And so when I moved to Sonoma County, I noticed there wasn't really very many open mics close to me. So I started an open mic, and of course we did it in person. I've been doing it now for about 15 years. And, of course, when the pandemic came along, it went to Zoom. And we did it, we do a group every Friday that's welcome and open. I accept a donation. And I find it so nourishing. And you were talking about, being happy. Poetry really helps me be happy, and connecting with other people and sharing on a deep level. I feel like as older people, we have a lot of wisdom to share. And in fact, Friday was a really good example because I woke up just kind of in a funk. I was bored with everything. I know no one else probably ever goes there, but
Right, yeah. I wish.
And after we had our poetry group, I was just reignited and enthusiastic and excited about life again. That's what it does for me. The groups that we have. So we have that one every Friday that's for men and women. It's 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then we have 2 monthly meetings that's just for women, a women's open mic, where women can feel really safe to share. And that's, let's see, that's the first and third Thursdays of each month. That's 11 a.m. Pacific. And yeah, they're all really just so nourishing, which I feel is important, especially as we age, to stay connected and to share with people, share our gifts and share our connection with others, kind of heart to heart.
Yeah. When you were exploring poetry for yourself, were there any writers that you're particularly drawn to that kind of inspired you?
Oh, I love Mary Oliver is my all-time favorite. She's so wonderful. Definitely inspires really luscious writing. And I enjoy Billy Collins too. He's totally different style, but he's just so funny. I
I'm
enjoy.
making notes. I love Mary Oliver also, but I've never read Billy Collins, so I'm making notes here.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah,
and
so
so, what kinds of poetry do you get at your open mic, or is it do they do short stories as well, or is it mostly just poetry?
it's mostly poetry, and short stories are welcome. Sometimes people will tell a short story. And it for our groups, we tend to have just very soulful poetry that's about, you know, about authenticity. It's about making a difference in the world and changing the things that we see really dramatically need change.
That's beautiful. And are they, if I wanted to just come and listen, is that okay as well? Or is it mostly for people who want to share?
Oh, absolutely. Anyone's welcome to come. We do have one person who comes to listen, and you're welcome to share something um, written by someone else, something that you really love. That's a possibility.
I love that. Poetry is one of those things that for me, I've sort of popped in and out with over the years. I get really excited for a little while and I read certain things and then I drift away and then come back again. I love how you said it just kind of found you. It sounds like it had a purpose for you.
Right, right. But yeah, my book is, well, the title has divining poetry in it. So we've often used it to ask a question and get an answer. It's really quite amazing. People have been just kind of blown away. The answers that come, even for me, if I'm feeling indecisive, there was this one time I was just feeling really low energy, and I had a dear girlfriend from Southern California who was coming up close to me. It was like maybe a 3-hour drive, and I was thinking, well, gosh, I don't think I'm really feeling up to this. I really want to see my friend. And so I just opened the book. I asked, well, shall I go? And I got this one poem that talked about how important it is to connect with our loved ones. Well, we still can. So I went. That was really
Oh,
fun.
that's beautiful.
Yeah. So it's
I love the idea of divining poetry. I'll have to, where can I find your book? Or is it on Amazon or other booksellers?
um, it is on Amazon, and I also sell them from my website, which is flyingchairproductions.weebly.com. You'll find the information on there and the information for the open mic.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So you mentioned kind of needing to find a purpose in your life and poetry kind of found you. Can you talk a little bit about having purpose and why it's so important as we get older?
It's a good point. Um, I think there's something that really comes from our soul, from our heart, whatever word you want to use for that, that kind of urges us to share our gifts. And if we don't, I think that it can actually cause emotional problems and physical, because we're blocking this natural flow. And yeah, so I feel like it's really crucial. I also feel like at the end of my life that when I look at what I've done, the most important thing to me is, did I share my gifts? Because I feel like that's why we came. Well, to learn for one thing, and also as we learn, to help others.
I love that. Yeah, to share your gifts, whatever they may be, whatever those little small bits are, even as I hear so many people as they get older and they're struggling more physically and, having more challenges. And it could be as simple as picking up the phone and connecting with a friend or, something. It's that those kinds of gifts can be meaningful as well. And we all need a reason to get up every day, right?
Exactly.
Something that gives us joy. Yeah, something that gives us
It can be something really small, just smiling to a stranger, giving someone a compliment. can really make a difference.
Yeah. Lovely. I'm so excited to check out your programming. I'm actually I'd like to come and listen in and hear some of the poetry. I'm not a writer myself, but I certainly appreciate people who have all those talents. Um, do you have any tips for our viewers on getting older and how to fill your life with joy and purpose?
Yeah, I would say self-care is really important, especially at this at this age, to make sure that you're eating well and that you're exercising, drinking plenty of water, all those things we know we need to do, and actually do them. That's the challenge. And to just wake up with the intention of being in your joy, and just reminding yourself, not only meditating and just touching in with your authentic self, but also mindfulness. We really need to be mindful of where our thoughts are going and direct them in the ways of gratitude and being positive. Yeah, we're the ones in charge of our thoughts. We can choose that. The more we
you
choose,
can change the whole day just by how you approach it.
exactly. And working on being less reactive to little things that are, like stickers in the fabric of life.
I like that. It is those little irritations that tend to push us over the edge, isn't it? The stickers.
Just, okay.
Oh,
And,
thank you.
One other thing I said, that I feel like it's really important to honor our feelings, and too, if we're feeling some anger and sadness, to encourage it to move through, to feel it, but just not get stuck.
Well, and poetry is such a beautiful way to express those feelings. When whether or not you have other outlets, writing, journaling, poetry, all those mechanisms are such a great way for expressing what's going on inside, especially if we feel like we don't have other outlets for that. So it's a beautiful way to do it.
Good point. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Sher, for joining me. If you're interested in the literary open mic, you can find information about it at amightygoodtime.com. And I'm sure we'll see lots of other programs from Sher. And please do check out her website and her book, and take on board some of these great tips today. So thank you so much for joining me, Sher.
And thank you.